So guys, how's it going? So in the previous part of this GTA series, I started building this game using the Unity game engine. The very first thing I did was import my main character into the game. For that, I used a third-person controller from the Unity asset store, which helps the player move properly, walking, running, and even jumping without any issues. After setting up the controller, I customized the character using Mixamo and replaced it with a GTA 6-style Lucia model. This change made the game feel much more realistic and visually appealing. After that, I wrote a car controller script and added a red-colored car to the game. Now the player can easily get into the car and drive it smoothly, which makes the overall gameplay feel a lot more fun and immersive. I'll put the link to that video in this video's description. After watching this one, make sure you check that video out as well. Now inside the GTA game, our player can fire a gun, but this feature was not already built into the character controller I was using. Because of that, I had to implement this system on my own, and it honestly took a lot of hard work and experimentation. To start with, I created a separate camera that would only be used while aiming and firing the gun. This camera gives a proper zoomed-in view so the aiming feels more accurate and realistic. After creating the camera, I wrote a dedicated script to control how this aim camera behaves. Then I attached the script to the player and first took a reference to the aim camera inside the script. After that, I added logic inside the update function. The idea behind this code is simple. Whenever the player presses the right mouse button, the aim camera gets enabled, and when the button is not pressed, the aim camera remains disabled. As a result, now when I click the right mouse button, the aim camera smoothly zooms in and works perfectly for aiming. And as soon as I release the button, the game instantly switches back to the normal camera, making the whole shooting system feel smooth and responsive. After adding the gun's zoom-in feature, I also needed to add a crosshair so the player can clearly see where he is actually aiming and shooting. Because of this, I implemented the crosshair using the UI system. First, I selected a canvas inside the UI, and then I added an image UI element, which I used to create the crosshair for the gun. After that, I dropped the crosshair image into the given field. Now we can see that the crosshair is visible inside the game. At first, it was a bit too large, but I adjusted its size and also changed its color. And now, as you can see, the crosshair has been properly implemented and is working nicely in the game. After that, I implemented a bullet model into the game, which gets instantiated the moment the gun is fired. To make this work, I created a script called Bullet Projectile, where I wrote all the logic to control the bullet's movement and velocity. This script is responsible for pushing the bullet forward as soon as it spawns. Next, I needed to decide the exact position from where the bullet should spawn. For that, I created a separate spawn point in the scene view. After setting up the spawn point, I wrote the code to instantiate the bullet from that position whenever the player fires. At this stage, we could see in the scene view that the bullet was spawning correctly, but it was following a slightly parabolic path instead of moving straight forward. This was happening because gravity was enabled on the bullet's rigid body. Since bullets should travel in a straight line, I turned gravity off. As soon as I did that, the bullet started moving in a proper straight line, exactly the way it should. After fixing the bullet movement, I added a particle effect to show the bullet impact. At this point, the player model, Lucia, was still firing the gun while staying in an idle pose, which looked a bit awkward and unrealistic. To fix this, I downloaded a proper gun shooting animation from Mixamo. Then, inside the animator window, I created a new layer and dropped this gun shooting animation into it. After handling this layer with a bit of code, Lucia's gun shooting animation started working smoothly. Finally, I added a gun model to Lucia's hand so it doesn't look like bullets are spawning directly from her hand. For this, I went into the character's hierarchy, found the correct hand bone position and placed the gun model there. So right now, the gun is properly placed in Lucia's hand, but it isn't perfectly aligned with the crosshair, which can cause accuracy issues while aiming. If the gun and crosshair don't line up correctly, shooting won't feel natural or precise. To fix this problem, I used animation rigging, which allows us to give the character a custom pose at runtime based on a target position. This means the character can dynamically adjust her body and arms while aiming, instead of relying only on pre-made animations. In simple terms, animation rigging helps us sync the player's body and gun with the crosshair, so the character actually aims where the player is looking. To set this up, the first thing I did was install the animation rigging package into my project. After that, I applied a bone renderer to my character so I could clearly see and work with all the bones. Once that was done, I started setting up the animation rigging system to properly align the gun and character with the crosshair during gameplay. So now, let's play it and see what happens. Oh no, Unity just crashed. To solve this issue, I did some deeper research and found out that the real cause of the problem was the robotic model that comes with Unity's third-person controller. Even though this model was disabled, it was still present inside the main character's hierarchy and was interfering with the animation rigging setup and causing all the issues. After removing it, the entire problem got fixed, and now our character Lucia can aim properly with the gun, and the movement of her body and hands started syncing correctly with the crosshair. With the rigging issue fixed, I moved on to improving the overall shooting experience. I added a fire or muzzle flash effect at the gun's nozzle so that whenever a bullet is fired, a visible flash appears, making the shooting feel more impactful. After that, to make it feel even more realistic, I also added gunfire sound effects using an audio manager. Now, when the player fires the gun, you can both see the fire effect at the nozzle and hear the gunfire sound. Now friends, I've been working on this video for a whole week. Game development and editing take a lot of time, so please make sure to subscribe to support the channel. After this, just like in GTA games, we need a mini-map that shows missions and collectibles. To build that, I created a separate camera specifically for the mini-map, which looks at the entire city from a top-down view and also follows the player. To manage and display all of this properly, we also need to use the UI system. This way, the player can always see their current location and nearby points of interest in real time. And this is the final game output. Enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe.